Well, in the hip hop world, the Diddy trial is pretty much dominating the news.
Yeah.
How many Diddy parties have you been to?
I was in the Hamptons. My boy Romy financed him. Romy, what's up? Bless up. But the ones that they talking about, it got to the point where it's so big in New York, they shut down streets in New York City. I couldn't get in those parties because they were all political people and celebs. Then I can tell the year, 1997, I went to the Hampton party before everybody was wearing all white. That was bomb. But the stuff that I'm hearing, this is another thing when they talk about freak-offs, right? They act like it was an orgy. And just for everybody to know, orgy is more known as a Greek word or Greek times. So what they're talking about in 2025 was being done 3, 4, 5,000 years ago.
Right.
Like nothing is new.
Oh, yeah, no, group sex has been
Okay,
around
this is the way
since
it is.
humans have been around.
Right. Some of the best porn in the world is Glory Hole, So I Hear.
So I hear.
And cuckold and voyeurism. I mean, they acting like this is something crazy. You know, the one thing they didn't say is they didn't mention him doing anything wrong.
Right. Well, it's very gray area. And I've actually been agreeing with you this whole time in terms of my statements, is that, I know a lawyer that's close to the case, and he broke it down to me. He said, this is really a domestic violence case that's ballooned into a RICO and sex trafficking and all this other stuff. It's beatable, but you really needed more time to prepare for it. Like, Diddy wanted to just move things along quickly because he doesn't want to sit in jail. But that could backfire on him.
Really? Why?
Yeah. Well, because these defenses take a long time to put together, right? He was trying to get bonded out like 3, 4 times in a row, kept getting denied. Like, you don't do that. Like, he's not really listening to his lawyers the way he should be. He's trying to run the show, but it's not his show. This is a courtroom. He doesn't really know very much about this. Yeah, he's been in a couple of cases over the years, but he's not a lawyer.
Right.
He doesn't know how these things come together.
It's a bunch of bull.
It is a bunch of bull. And
because even saying this is domestic violence, he's a jealous lover that's dealing with a girl who knows how to flirt with people.
Well, yeah. And, I mean, for example, it's not just with her, because I remember Roger Bonds in my new interview, said that, for example, with Kim Porter, they'd be waiting outside of her house for 6 hours. He'd be like, yo, I know she's in there. I know she's in there. Roger's like, yo, man, we got to go. We go get arrested. No, I pay the rent here. They can't arrest me. And they just be sitting there for half a day, damn near a whole work day. And there's no one in there, but he's convinced that someone's in there with her. So you see a lot of crazy, jealous, drug-fueled,
jealousy
paranoia
with money
and so forth.
There's jealousy with money. There's been guys who are stalkers. There've been guys who go into people's jobs, tapping their phones, putting a tracker on cars, putting cameras and recorders by the bed, just to prove to themselves that this person that they want to control doesn't want to be controlled.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. But, I mean, I can't tell you, there's some stuff that came out in this trial that I was not ready to hear. Like, for example, when Cassie would describe their freak-offs and said the dudes would bust on her and then she would bring it to Diddy and he would rub it on his nipples. That I was not ready for. I was not ready for that. Listen. So I just interviewed one of the male escorts, the Punisher.
Yeah. He's doing everybody's show.
He's doing everyone's show.
Yeah.
Right. But off camera, he said, I wish I had this on camera, but off camera, me and him had this conversation afterwards where it was so perfect the way he described it. So basically with him is that he was hired, he would come in the beginning, he didn't know who it was.
Right.
Cassie had a wig, Diddy came in with like a burqa, face covered, and that's it, naked from the waist down, from the neck down.
Mm-hmm.
So he didn't know who it was until like maybe a few months in, right? So every time it'd be the same thing. They'd be in a suite. He would start having sex with Cassie. At one point, Diddy would get up and walk in the other room in the bedroom, close the door. He would have to pull out and basically rub one off and bust like on her stomach. And he said, this is so funny. I wish you could see this visually. I'm talking to the audience right now. She would jump up and kind of like try to like not to spill the liquid gold and just kind of like run to the bedroom, try not to spill it. And then lock the door, right? And this was the funniest part. I wish this was on camera. He said, and when I was watching the trial and Cassie said that she would rub the cum on Diddy's nipples, I was actually relieved because all this time I thought that he was eating it.
Let me just say this.
Which is a fair assumption, right?
Right.
Like, what are you doing with it?
Like, I was watching and I kept thinking before I came on the show, I said, Vlad's going to ask you about Diddy. What are you going to say? I'm going to say, I've been always cool with Puffy. And I have a friend who says, she said, the deal is some guys, like girls are down. They're down to do the freaky shit. But then some guys go too far. They go 1-2 steps too far. And it makes it, one, a point of no return, and two, no longer fun. It becomes dangerous and at that point. But for Cassie, I looked at her like somebody may say, well, what do you think of Cassie? I think she's the sexiest thing in the world now. Because she was like...
She does it all.
Yes.
You pee in her mouth. She can run around with the...
No inhibitions.
With the cum all over the room and not
guy.
spilling none of it. That's a skill. Not to spill none of it,
Favorite girls
run
in the
over
world
20 feet.
are the ones with no restrictions.